Hey, what is going on, my collective fam? It is Queen Cin here, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. So, see my face today. The video I'm doing is about Mercury Retrograde and how it helped me heal. I have to say, well, first off, let's go into what Mercury Retrograde is. I have some notes right here that I'm going to be reading off just so I can give, accurate definition of it. But Mercury, is one of the planets that are in the solar system, and each one of the planets governs a certain aspect of our life. So, for instance, the sun, represents our basic personality. The moon represents our emotions. And then like Mercury is over thoughts, communication, contracts. Let me go down. Okay, so yeah, Mercury rules all types of communication, including listening, speaking, learning, reading, editing, researching, negotiating, selling, and buying. Mercury also rules all formal contracts and agreements, as well as important documents such as manuscripts, term papers, agreements, deeds, contracts, leases, wills, and so forth. Also included under this is computer codes, as well as transportation, shipping, and travel. So sometimes during retrograde is not the best time to travel, or your travel plans may go through, so you have to make sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be. And also you can have technology issues. So you may have issues with the internet, issues with your phone, just any type of technology. And basically when retrograde is, is when the planet is appearing to move backwards. At first I thought, it actually did move backwards, but after doing some more research, I learned that the planet isn't actually moving backwards. It's moving at a slower rate, which if you were to look at Mercury, it would appear that it is moving backwards, but it's actually just moving at a much slower rate than what it normally is. And when it's moving slower than it normally is, that means it's not necessarily in its awake phase. It's kind of in a sleeping phase. So the areas that it governs, that it rules, those areas can get a little bit chaotic because, the main parent isn't awake and making sure that everything is going the way that it needs to. And also, a big thing I know people talk about during Mercury retrogrades, this is the time when exes pop up. Certain feelings may pop up from the past. Actually, it may be a lot of feelings, a lot of stuff that you haven't healed, a lot of stuff that you haven't processed yet, and you just kind of throw it in the back of your mind. You just throw it back like, oh, I ain't worried about it. I'll just worry about it later. I'll think about it later. Oh, it doesn't faze me. I'm just gonna let it brush off my shoulder. Well, usually during Mercury retrograde, especially for me, this was a time when all those things that I was throwing in the back of my head, oh, it'll be okay, I'm good, I'm not worried about it, I'm healed, I'm good, it was like, oh no, you're not good and you're not healed. So I'm sure there's people that felt the same way that I was feeling, but so yeah, I guess I'll just go into what my experience was with this Mercury retrograde. So this one started on, I believe it started October 13th and it ended November 3rd. But then it has a 2-week shadow period where you still feeling the effects of it. And also during that period, if you got into an argument with somebody, or was just very aggressive and stuff like that, that's usually the time that you kind of make up for what all the craziness that you were doing then, because we're filled with emotions. This one was very intense, and it was the last Mercury retrograde of the year, and I believe we also had a supermoon at the end of October too, which amplified the energy. So yeah, because it was on Halloween. So yeah, which really amplified a lot of that energy. So when you don't really know what to do with that energy, it can come out in a more negative way. But so yeah, for me, a big thing that hit me was, love, self-love, my lack of self-love for myself. It was very apparent just because in certain, I'm typically not a jealous person. I'm typically not, don't get upset if people don't respond to messages and stuff like that. But baby, this retrograde, I was getting upset when certain people weren't hitting me back. I was feeling very lost, very alone, feeling like I didn't know myself. I didn't feel supported, and I was looking for outside sources, for somebody else to show me the love or just fill me up. It was something missing inside of me, and it was just I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I have to get this together. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm feeling like this. Why am I upset? Why am I, crying randomly? It was so much going on in the month of October for me. And then I was like, okay. And this was maybe the first week into retrograde. So yeah, if it was the first week, I think it may have been the first few days, but regardless, it was within that first week of retrograde, and it was hitting me hard. And I was like, okay, I need to do some shadow work. So what shadow work is basically when you can do it different type of ways, but for me, this is what I did. I like to journal. So it's basically when you're journaling out just all the things that traumatize you, all the things that hurt you, all the things that you're still harboring in your heart and in your soul from the past. And basically, writing out everything, how you're feeling. No judgment. You cannot judge yourself during this process. Writing out exactly, how you're feeling about this. Writing out the situation, in detail. And it may hurt, but it helps with that healing process, because this is a deep, deep, deep healing process. It's not surface level, what I was doing initially, thinking, okay, I'm good. Oh, God, look at this. No, I ain't gonna say, oh, God, look at that, because I've lost some weight. So, anyway, so, dang, where was I at? Oh, the shadow work. So, yeah, it's basically, it's a deep, deep healing. It causes you to feel all those emotions that you were running away from. So, writing out in detail exactly what happened, and then writing out exactly how you felt about the situation. And sometimes you can do this with, in one area of your life. So, for instance, your love life. If you were feeling you were going through the same patterns with men and you didn't understand, then I would suggest, writing down every man that traumatized you, every man that hurt you in this situation, how I went about. And then when you're writing down these things, you identify the patterns, you identify what you're doing, you identify your triggers. And that is the purpose of it, when you're in these situations, to look at the patterns and see, okay, well, when this happens, I react like this. Now that you see that, okay, every time my dude don't answer the phone for me or he don't text me back, I go, and it's longer than 5 minutes, I go into this spiral of thinking negative thoughts. And now that, you may identify with that. Now, when, you send your dude a text or anything, you don't get a response. Instead of going to that trigger, going into that behavior of, erratic negative thinking, just being like, okay, well, maybe he's busy. Maybe he's doing something else, but this doesn't mean that, my self-worth is diminished. This doesn't mean, and this is kind of this is just an example. This isn't exactly, what I was going through, but, that's just an example of, finding out the patterns and stuff like that. But yeah, going back to me, I was definitely, was getting upset, if certain people weren't hitting me back, or just feeling left out, feeling, just not part of anything, not part of a group, just I'm all by myself, I'm all by my lonesome. So I had to really think about and evaluate like why I felt that way. Why are you getting angry? Why do you feel lonely? You have friends that, support you. You have friends that say that you love you. So why are you feeling alone? Honestly, I was feeling how I felt years ago, like 10 years ago, when I was, what was I in 10 years ago? I was in high school 10 years ago. Okay. 10, 15 years ago when I was, in high school and middle school. And when I would, I had talked to a guy, or, really liked the guy and stuff like that, called him my little boyfriend or whatnot. And, things would switch up. Things wouldn't be as good as they were before. In those states, I remember just feeling like everything was my fault, and feeling like I had to put in the work. I have to prove myself. I have to show myself. I have to, always show this person that I'm such a great person. I'm such a great friend. Ooh, look at me. I can do this. I can help you with all of that. And just giving myself to people. And I realized that, because I know that I'm a people pleaser. Like, I have been a people pleaser in the past, but that realization of thinking about just all past little boyfriends or, situations and stuff like that. And each and every time, when I wouldn't get that response, or things would just be different, I would always feel like it was my fault. And then always, running and going above and beyond to try to fix that situation. And I had to realize, Cin, you're still putting people in front of you. You are still trying to be a people pleaser. You are still trying to be what you feel like other people want you to be, but you're not being you. That's why you're miserable right now, because you're not loving you. You're looking for external validation for that love. And you don't need it. It's in you. It's in you. You don't have to go looking for someone else, go looking out into the world, for friends and, to love you. Just because somebody doesn't text you back, just because they may not call you back, they may not get back to you, doesn't mean that, you're a horrible person or that they're not friends with you. But, I've had situations where people did just up and, leave and didn't want to be friends and stuff like that. And yes, that was very triggering, because, hey, I love my friends. If I mess with you, I mess with you the long way. And I'm very loyal. So, when I do, those moments and stuff of people leaving and just up and leaving my life, that was a trigger for me too. And I had to realize that regardless of who comes in and out of my life, I'm still whole. People don't make me whole. I make myself whole. The love that you're seeking for externally, you have inside of you. So now what I'm doing to combat that is, I'm complimenting myself. I'm spending time with myself. But I'm also spending more time with spirit too. So in the morning, I'm doing my meditations. I may do some journaling. Or I may just light my candles and just lay in the bedroom and just relax. Or I'll get in the tub and light my candles, you know, and have that time. Sometimes I play some music, sometimes I don't. But another big thing that's really been helping with me is, you know, just really gassing myself up. And yeah, it's a form of affirmations, but it's really just letting myself know, like, hey girl, you know, you're looking good. Ooh, yeah, look at you, you hot caramel goddess. All right, I see you slimming down over there. I see you. See, you got the sexy shoulders out. I see you got the head wrap. Look at you, boo. You looking too good. But, I mean, that's what it is. Like, you know, you gassing yourself up. You making yourself feel good. And just also letting myself know that I'm whole. I'm good. Even, you know, even when situations don't go the way that they plan, even when something, you know, it may be my fault. You know, I may have made a mistake, but just knowing that I'm still good, I'm still whole, I'm still me. Like, just because I made a mistake doesn't mean that it makes me a less of a person. And, you know, growing up, that's kind of how it felt. You know, if you made a mistake, if you didn't do something right, you know, what's wrong with you? How come you can't do nothing right? You can't never do anything right. And it's like, well, no, that's not the case, baby girl. That was never the case. You've always been cool. You've always been right. You've always been whole. You've always been legit. But just programming. That's all it is, programming. And, you know, for so long, you know, I thought I was doing self-care by, you know, by just taking my baths, or because I was, you know, meditating in the morning. But then I also had to realize that if it's something that I'm planning on doing that day and somebody calls me and say they want me to do something, instead of me jumping to do what they want me to do, I'm like, oh, well, I can't do it today. Because I had plans with myself, you know, following through with myself, dating myself, just being one with myself, loving each part of myself. That's what part of shadow work is. Like, your shadow is, you know, the parts of your personality that you aren't necessarily proud of. There may have more negative emotions, negative feelings and stuff like that associated with it. But, I mean, sometimes those things are necessary. Sometimes it's okay to be a little bit possessive, because, you know, you're watching out for your people. You're watching out for your family or whatever it is. It's okay, you know, to be a protector. It's not okay to just be overly obsessive and overly protective, but it's okay to be a protector. It's okay to look out for your people. It's okay to want love. You know, it's okay to want to be loved. But knowing that you don't have to seek that external validation in order to get love. That's not the only type of love there is. You have to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, then honestly, anything that anybody else does isn't going to be satisfying. And that's what I was figuring out, that, you know, I was upset and I was feeling like, to, you know, a certain extent, that it was my fiance's fault. It was mainly his fault, but then I had to sit and realize and be like, yeah, he may be, you know, a part of it, but a lot of it really has to do with you. You have to love yourself and you have to be cool. And and since I have been, you know, gassing myself up and really, you know, spending more time with myself, taking the time out to center myself, to ground myself before my spirit is even, before I even, you know, interact with anybody. You know, I have been feeling whole, and I haven't been having as much anxiety. And even when, you know, other people may get upset, or, you know, may feel a type of way, or sometimes, you know, my fiance may come home and he may not be in the best mood, you know, because of some stuff that happened at work, or just anything in general. Or just because he's tired, you know, he's not feeling the best. And, you know, I can feel that that's not, you know, affecting me as much as it was before. You know, other people's moods and, you know, feelings and emotions would affect me so much that I would take them on. Or if I felt like someone was upset or mad at me, you know, I'm doing everything in my power to try to make them smile, to try to make them happy, because I'm feeling like, oh, I'm the one that's making them upset. I'm the one that's doing it. And it's like, no, detachment. That is what it has taught me. Detachment. Just not being attached to anything, being able to let things just flow and go. Because I'm whole. I'm whole by myself. I don't need anything else. I don't need anyone else if I don't want them. You know, I'm whole by myself. Of course, we all need a spiritual team. We all need, we all need our supportive team. We all need, your circle, your exact table to be there with you and support you, of course. But at the end of the day, you are whole with or without that. And that's what I really had to tell myself. And that's what I'm still working on it. It's not an overnight thing. Oh, I'm healed for the rest of my life. But, it's a process. And just now knowing that, okay, I need to take this time out and, I need to spend this time with myself. Knowing that if something doesn't go well, if something goes bad, if I make a mistake, I'm good. I am good. I don't need to freak out. I don't need to talk bad to myself, and also, that negative self-talk is real. So, speaking more positive affirmations, playing those positive affirmations while you're sleeping. I've heard that helps as well because, that's in your subconscious, but just believing in yourself. That's what you have to do. You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in it yourself, then really nothing else matters. If you don't love yourself, nothing else matters, because nothing is going to be the way that you want it. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to be happy because you don't love yourself. So, yeah. That is how Mercury Retrograde helped me heal. I really just wanted to share this story with you guys because I felt like it was important. I know a lot of people, look to me for advice, and I have been talking about my healing journey for such a long time and my spirituality and how it's helped me. But I also, want people to know that, yeah, I'm human too, and just because I post motivational things doesn't necessarily mean that, I'm always happy and everything is, blossoms and cherries and ice cream. Like, it's not always like that, but just knowing that during those moments, you're going to come out stronger. You're going to come out a lot better. And it's okay to be upset. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to have emotions. Feel those emotions. Feel them. That's why we have them. Feel those emotions. But the thing about it, emotions are supposed to move. Emotions are constantly evolving. Our emotions are attached to the moon. The moon is constantly revolving. Constantly. Every freaking day. So our emotions, change every day. But it's good to, feel those emotions and just see, what is the root cause of it? Why am I really feeling the way that I'm feeling? And once you get to that problem, it makes life a lot easier. You're not just pushing it pushing it off until you can't take it anymore. And now you exploded, and all somebody did was ask you how your day was, or you just dropped a pen, or you dropped your keys outside the door. That's all that happened, but you just blew up. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video. Please let me know if it resonated with you, if it helped. Also, let me know if you want some more videos like this. I'm very into astrology. I'm still a novice at it. I'm just learning and whatnot, but honestly, learning my birth chart, learning the planets, doing my tarot, all this stuff has really just been very eye-opening for me, and it's refreshing because I'm definitely not the same woman I was at the beginning of the retrograde. And I'm definitely not the same woman, that I was at the beginning of the year. Like, I just feel so complete. I feel so whole, but it's magnificent. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Like, even right now, like, I can see I have a natural glow. Not trying to be conceited or anything, but I'm happy. I'm good. Like, yeah, I'm in a very good state. My vibes have been high. I've been trying to stay on the frequency of love as much as I can. But anyway, yeah, if you guys, feeling this video, rocking with it, please let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also, make sure you follow my Instagram, she_Reignz with a Z, and also follow _the_collective. That is my family's business, and then She Reignz is my empowerment, spirituality, talk about astrology and stuff like that. But we also got some fashion and styling in there too. So I love you guys. I'm sending you peace, love, and blessings into your homes. And until next time.